Hi, I hope that you're doing absolutely amazing. This video has been or is being created by request from one of my clients, and she had a question. How do I know if reading the tarot or studying the tarot is the right choice for me? How do I know that? It's very cold here in South Africa at the moment. Little Bruno's getting very, very cold. Um, and you know what? I find that it's one of those things where the answer is sort of really laying within the question itself. And what I mean when I say that is that usually when you ask the question, is this the right thing for me? Is this something that I would like to do? Then you already somehow have a very natural inclination towards that, and I mean, I may ask a question, for example. Bruno, go sit there where it's warmer, man. Go there. I may ask, is maybe reading the runes the right thing for me? Or should I maybe incorporate crystals in my work more because I'm a Reiki master, I'm a crystal healer, I'm an angel communicator, I'm a natural born psychic, I'm a tarot reader, I use oracle cards, I'm a regression hypnosis practitioner, I'm an NLP practitioner, I'm a life coach. So I'm going to ask that sort of question. I can guarantee you, I'm not gonna sit at home one day and wonder to myself, I wonder if I shouldn't aspire to become an NBA football player. First of all, I'm too old for that. I'm turning 40 in a couple of days. But, also I'm too short for that. I am 1.74 meters, which is, if I recall correctly, that's about 5.7 feet. So that's not very tall, not in NBA terms. But also, it's not really my sort of thing. It's not my passion, it's not my interest. And so I find that, when you ask the question, is this really right for me? Then there's already a natural inclination towards it. But here's the other parts about it is that, or some other things or other questions that you want to ask yourself if you wonder if the tarot is right for you. Questions that you might want to ask is, are you interested in, for example, the law of attraction? Are you interested in things like cause and effect? Are you interested in things like Newton's third law, where, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction? Are you interested in karma? Are you interested in potentially life, in how what I've done yesterday has brought me towards where I am today, and how oops, sorry, baby, and what I do today, how that unfolds my future tomorrow, because that is really what the tarot is all about. The 78 cards that you get are, I almost call them like a spokesperson for life possibility, because tarot is not about the cards. Tarot is about life. It's about the energy of life, and it's about the cycles of life. Now, as a human being, we obviously have one big cycle, and that is the cycle when you are born until the time that you pass. That is the big cycle that we have. And then we have smaller cycles within that cycle, from the time that you're born till say about 7 years old, there's things that are happening over here. And then from 7 to 14, 14 till 21, 21 to 28, 28 to 35, 35 to 42. Our life sort of goes in almost like those 7 year sort of cycles. And as we obviously walk through the journey of life, we sometimes get ourselves into very tight spots. We get ourselves into a lot of hot water. We make choices that are not in our best interest. We buy into ideas that are not in our best interest, and then that causes certain experiences in our lives. So when we look at the tarot, we are really looking at how is your energy taking you into certain things, or how can your energy get you out of certain things. And I think that is where the whole future prediction thing is coming from, because it's like, this is where, or let me rather put it to you like, because tarot readings, whether it's if I dare say so, a simple reading, because it's never really simple, but whether it's like just a 3 part spread reading or a really detailed reading, technically speaking, this is how a tarot reading, this is what it focuses on. Where you are at the moment, how you got to where you are, and how where you are, where that is currently, where that is taking you. If you like where it's taking you, fantastic, great, wonderful, fantastic, hunky-dory, everything is wonderful. If you don't like where it's taking you, then you can change it. Because if you want to change your life, as everybody always says, you want to change your life, you got to change your mindset. If you're willing to change your mindset, your life can change. If you're not willing to change your mindset, your life won't change. And so a lot of times people are very terrified of tarot because they're like, what if I don't like what I see? And I say to them, it's almost like going to a doctor. Let's say you've got a pain underneath your arm, like over here. That can be a number of things, but our mind typically goes to the worst possible things. But then you go to the doctor, and the doctor does, do like a little bit of, I wanted to say inspection. They like do like a diagnosis and all those sort of things. Maybe a little bit of scans, take a little of bloods, and they can say, oh well, it's just a little cyst that you have. Maybe at some point you hurt yourself or something like that. You're fine. You just need the antibiotic. Or you can say maybe well, we need to maybe do some surgery. Or I might say we don't really need to do surgery. We can just do a bit of laser treatment over there. But now you know. And once you know, you get options. The doctor is going to give you options. So this is what you have, and this is what your options are. But when you don't, know what's happening. So you've got this pain and you don't really know what it is. Could maybe just be like a little torn ligament or like a muscle or whatever, but you don't know. And if you don't know, you sort of withhold yourself from choices. So what the tarot really does, it sort of lets you know this is where you are and that is where you are going. And so if you are a person who would really like to have a more profound understanding of life, of human psyche, maybe you're very interested in the mind, maybe you're very interested in cause and effect, then something like the tarot will really appeal to you, because as we learn to read the tarot, we learn more about ourselves, we learn more about other people, we learn more about our options in life, because remember, nothing in life is cut and dry. Nothing. You change, everything else changes. You don't change, nothing else changes. And so the tarot is really about learning more about life. And as you learn the tarot, you will find that your psychic ability will naturally expand. There's a bit of a door that's banging over there. I do apologize, I didn't close it properly. So I do apologize for that in the background, if that's annoying. But the tarot is really about learning more about yourself, because we are all one expression of life. And even though we might see ourselves separate from other people, separate from plants, from this dead event over there, one way or the other, it's connected to us. And the tarot helps us to connect those dots. And so if you would just like to have a deeper understanding about life, about yourself, you don't have to become this tarot reader. It's not a requirement that you have to do it, because I feel sometimes, especially with psychic ability even, people have this thing of like, but I must tell them. But just because you have the communication doesn't mean that you have to tell people. It's your choice. And even with psychic ability, which is, as I said earlier, it is something that will expand naturally as you study the tarot. Even with that, it is just becoming aware of things that have always been there, Sometimes people get very nervous because they're like, well, what if I see things and hear things like, well, those things have always been there. You just didn't have the radar to pick it up. And it's almost like in life, if you imagine living in a home, would you rather know what's happening around your home, or would you rather lock yourself in the home and hope for the best and not really know what's happening around your home at any given point in time? Which is going to give you the most peace of mind, And The tarot can even say to you, know what, everything seems fine, everything seems okay, but if you maybe want to put a couple of lights outside your home just so there's more light, so you can see at any given point in time what's happening. You want to maybe install some CCTV cameras so you can see what's happening around your home. You can maybe then check it out on your mobile phone before you get home. If that's something that you want to do that's going to make you feel better, go ahead and do it. And so the tarot will kind of give you that sort of guidance in life. And one of the main reasons why your psychic ability expands is because you become aware of things that you haven't been aware of before. And the more we become aware of life, it's almost like when we learn to read. The better you learn to read, now you go from these little books that get this huge print, you can start reading this really thick volumes of books, which I love to read, and you can do it just like that, because you get skilled at it. And I always say to people that with tarot, you can learn the tarot and become a master at the tarot without even actually having a deck of cards, or without ever picking up a deck and sort of like, consulting the tarot or anything like that, because tarot is about life. And when you speak to people that are sort of like professional tarot readers that does a lot of tarot readings, they are hardly ever going to go to cards and see, I just happen to have some cards next to me because I did a personal reading for someone. So they're never typically going to go to the cards and see, okay, I want to do this. What are the cards saying? What are the cards telling me to do? Because they understand that the cards are not tarot. The cards are a representation of the tarot. It's like a precedent, basically. A precedent is, technically speaking, the voice of Parliament, the representative of Parliament, the face of a country. But the president, him or herself, is not the actual country. They're just a representation of the country. They're a spokesperson of the country. And it's the same thing with the tarot. Okay, so nothing really spooky about it, nothing to be scared of. It's just a way of, it's called divination. And it's a way of, when we say, when we pray, we ask and meditate and all of those things, we're asking life for things. Tarot is a way of life speaking back to us. It's like the ABCs. It just gives us more than the ABCs, because if you take a look at the alphabet has got 26 letters. And in those 26 letters, it's able to tell us it's got all the writing in the world and all of those type of things. Tarot's got 78 cards. It's 3 times the amount of the alphabet. So it's just able to tell us more. And the more we learn, the more we practice, the better we become at it. And I've been doing tarot for more than 20 years now. I've been teaching tarot to many, many people. And I can tell you that all the time I'm still consistently learning, because life in itself is a concept that we're never fully going to grasp. So as you go through life, you learn more about life. And that is the beauty about life, and that is why I love life so much. And so with the tarot, it's a way of the universe being able to communicate back to you. It's almost like life is able to send you a very detailed email, and you just basically read the email. And the more you read the emails, the better you get at reading the emails. That's the long and short of tarot. Right? Nothing scary. I know there's all these scary things that you sometimes get on television. You get like the Tower card, the Death card, the Devil card. People go like, oh my goodness, calamity, calamity. But when you really understand those cards, you understand that it's, for example, the Tower, it can be a very challenging period, but it's a really deep kind of spiritual clean out within, like that spring clean that's necessary to make space for new things to come. The Death card is about moving from darkness, from oppression into the light. It's about leaving behind that which is no longer serving you positively and moving into the positivity. And what is the other one that I mentioned? The Devil. The Devil is where you get to really see the ways in which you are actually self-sabotaging yourself. It's amazing. And you start putting these cards together, they start forming a story for you, which you can choose to follow or not to follow. All right. But if you do feel that maybe you are called upon to maybe look deeper into the tarot, I do have a step-by-step tarot reading course. I really try to go into the details with it, teaching all the things around it. It's about a 10-hour course. You can take a look at it. There's a link down below in the description. The first couple of lessons are free, so it gives you the opportunity to decide whether I am the teacher for you or not. But if you decide to take my course, I hope that you find absolutely great value from there. But in the question of whether the tarot is for you or not, the question is, are you feeling drawn to it? And what is your intuition telling you? And are you going to follow that intuition? Because at the end of the day, you are the one that gets to decide. So I hope that helps. From my heart, namaste. Long life.